I think part of the problem is people are trying to interpret their understanding of God through the Bible that was written to people in context that were living in a different age and a different understanding. So all of those who were living in the Old Covenant, in the Old Testament, their relationship with God was not that God was in them, and they were not living in the same perspective of who God really is. So just because they interpreted things about God in a particular way doesn't mean it's true. So I'm not going to look at the Old Testament for my understanding of God, because it was written by people who didn't know God. Now, when the prophets started to come along, they started to prophesy out of a new perspective. Oh, you didn't want sacrifices and offerings. You didn't require them. A new covenant is coming where you're going to write things on our hearts. It's not about this keeping this legislation or whatever. And maintaining a standard is about our works to create something in our lives that then God will honor. So I've got to maintain a standard of holiness or whatever it might be. And of course, everyone's standard is different depending on which way they're looking at it. No, I am already meeting God's standard because I am in Christ, and Jesus met God's standard. I didn't have to. He did it for me. So he died my death. I died with him. I was resurrected with him. I'm made alive with him. I've been made righteous. I have been justified. I've been forgiven. I've been reconciled. And he did all of that without me having to do anything. I just have to accept who I actually am from his perspective. And if I'm trying to meet some standard that we set, I'm never going to succeed, because I don't have the ability in my own strength to meet any form of standard, which is why Jesus met the standard for me. I don't have to be obedient to God, because if I'm trying to be obedient, what am I trying to do? Obey some form of law. I don't have to try and please God by my behavior. I'm already pleasing to him because he only sees me as righteous. God keeps no record of the wrongs of my life. People love to keep records of our wrongs because it gives them power over us. But God keeps no record of wrongs. Love keeps no record of wrongs. It very clearly says in 2 Corinthians 5:19 that God was in Christ reconciling the world to himself, not holding their trespasses against them. It very clearly says in Colossians that every accusation made against me has been nailed to the cross, and Jesus dealt with all of them and overcame all of the accusations. So if I'm justified, then that is a legal term that basically says I am not guilty of any offense because I am now justified. So someone has looked and said, no, you are now justified, therefore you're not guilty of this. Like I am now righteous. I am the righteousness of God in Christ. I didn't make myself righteous. He declared me to be righteous. So it's something he has done. I didn't reconcile myself to God. God reconciled me to himself. He didn't need to reconcile himself to me because he was never, ever not reconciled to me. But I was not reconciled because I felt separated from him. But actually, he reconciled me to himself so I could accept how he's always seen me. If you enjoy these videos, would you please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe? It really does help. Thank you very much.